Good evening, primetime viewers. It's Angie Russ, and we're hitting the gas on this evening's N3 Primetime. Gary Franchi is geared up to dive into a whirlwind of stories, from the explosive Fulton County indictments rocking the 2020 Georgia election scene to the Biden administration's sweeping economic gambits and the shakeup storm at CNN following plunging ratings. But wait, there's more. The MyPillow mogul Mike Lindell is charting a course for the future of U.S. elections. And the Biden administration's handling of the Maui fire tragedy? We've got it covered. And as always, stay tuned for our Prime Tweet segment. We're reading your thoughts. Plus, in looking at you, find out who's making waves and why you need to watch out for them. Gary, over to you to unravel these hot topics for us.
Thanks, Ange. Good evening, America. It's Gary Franchi here on N3 Primetime. Tonight, we peel back the layers of stories that don't just make headlines, but profoundly shape the future of our republic. From the swirling controversies of the Fulton County indictments to the economic chess moves of the Biden administration and the media shakeups that directly mold the narrative. Why? Because they reflect the challenges, decisions, and influences that carve the trajectory of our nation. And speaking of trajectories, consider this. Since the 1970s, our beloved U.S. dollar has lost an astonishing 85% of its value. As we approach pivotal elections and see potential economic shifts, the threat of unchecked money printing looms, possibly igniting inflation. But like our unwavering spirit, gold remains resilient against these economic tempests. And our friends at Noble Gold Investments, they understand this. Right now, when you invest with them, they're offering a free quarter-ounce gold standard coin. So navigate to noblegoldinvestments.com or simply give them a ring at 877-646-5347. And even if you're not investing, call that number and tell them how much you appreciate their sponsorship of our work. That number is 877-646-5347. Secure your financial future the way gold withstands inflation, unwaveringly. Now, speaking of securing the narrative, Angie, what stories have you anchored down for us on tonight's episode?
Good evening, folks. Tonight on N3 Primetime, we're diving deep into the pulse of our nation. First up is the You're Fired Act, a rightful halt on taxpayer money, or is it a political move against Special Counsel Jack Smith? And in the White House, a simple mispronunciation has ignited a larger debate about competency in the Biden administration. Over in South Dakota, a historically packed Budweiser tent sits eerily empty. Is it a sign of shifting values or an evolving brand image? Baby Storm's dance routine at Target, a case of racial injustice or a breach of store policy? And finally, as crime surges in San Francisco, even the iconic Nancy Pelosi Federal Building isn't spared from the city's safety concerns. Why should you care? Because these stories shed light on our nation's evolving identity, priorities, and challenges. Now for the first special report, Gary, over to you.
Tonight we delve deep into a jaw-dropping display of corruption so brazen it could only be aimed at one man, Donald J. Trump. In a startling new development, the Fulton County grand jury has returned 10 indictments in the probing investigation surrounding the 2020 election. So the question now is, what happens next? Will Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis is steadfastly leading this investigation into the alleged efforts by former President Trump and his associates to overturn the election results in Georgia. But as we delve deeper into this judicial storm, an alarming pattern is emerging. Indictment documents, shockingly, were posted publicly on the Fulton County Court's website, causing a storm of speculation and outrage before being abruptly removed with no explanation. With these indictments hanging like a sword over the heads of those involved, a cloud of uncertainty is settling over the pursuit of justice. As we unpack the ramifications of the situation tonight, trust me, you don't want to miss our final thoughts on this glaring issue and its impact on the American people. So stay with us throughout this entire special report. Now, this case was drenched in controversy from the start. President Trump's words echoed across social media decrying this travesty of justice. Why wasn't this fake case brought 2.5 years ago? He's asking the question we all should. Why now? If the foundation of the claim was solid, why wait until now to bring the case? The timing is suspect, to say the least. Now let's be clear, the principle of innocence until proven guilty seems to have been abandoned here. Fulton County was quick to post the indictment details on its website, shattering any pretense of fairness or due process. Phony Fani Willis, the DA of Fulton County, Georgia, wants desperately to indict me. That's what Trump wrote on Truth Social, passionately defending his integrity and casting the saga as the latest in a relentless witch hunt. Now, Trump is not alone in his fight. He has allies who see this sham for what it is. Representative Matt Gaetz and Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, among others, are stepping up, labeling the Fulton County grand jury process as tainted and corrupted. Gaetz' call for a motion to dismiss underscores the blatant misconduct, and this isn't just about justice. It's about political bloodlust. And let's not overlook another astounding aspect. The Fulton County court system's own website, of all places, initially published a damning indictment against Donald Trump before the grand jury had even reached its verdict. This was a disturbing incident. Was it, though? A minor clerical error or a deliberate move designed to poison the well of public opinion? And remarkably, even political adversaries of Trump are raising their voices. Presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy expressed his deep concern over this clear constitutional violation, calling Fulton County's premature posting of the indictment downright pathetic. When even political rivals pause their own campaigns to point out the obvious injustice, you know there's fire behind the smoke. So what charges are being brandished against Trump? Well, they range from RICO violations to conspiracy, a litany of accusations as extreme as it is extensive. However, the most important charge, it seems, is not listed: running while conservative, challenging the establishment, and vowing to drain the swamp. In an unprecedented move, cameras will apparently be allowed in the courtroom, turning a serious legal proceeding into what promises to be a public spectacle. Georgia law mandates this transparency, but one can't help but wonder if the objective here is justice or simply reality TV-style humiliation aimed squarely at Trump and, by extension, the millions who support him. Now, Fulton County DA Fani Willis is preparing to wield RICO, a charge originally designed to combat organized crime, as a weapon against Trump and as many as 12 of his associates. Using RICO in this manner is nothing short of audacious, leveraging a law intended to dismantle the mafia against a former president and his team. And this isn't about organized crime, it's about organized political targeting. Let's break this down. A supposed indictment was released prematurely. The grand jury appears tainted with bias, and now a televised courtroom spectacle awaits. The term kangaroo court springs to mind, a term we would expect to associate with autocratic regimes and not the United States of America. And President Trump has repeatedly and vehemently declared his innocence. He said, "I didn't tamper with the election." He stated plainly on Truth Social, "The people that tampered with it were the ones that rigged it." These are the words not of a guilty man desperate to deflect blame, but of a fighter who is no stranger to being the target of political games. As we conclude, we must recognize the stark reality here. This isn't merely an attack on Donald Trump. It's an attack on the principles of justice, fair play, and the value that America stands upon. When political disagreements are weaponized into prosecutorial vendettas, nobody wins except perhaps the lifelong politicians who are threatened by outsiders. This case is emblematic of why many Americans yearn for term limits, to prevent politics from becoming a breeding ground for lifelong vendettas and power grabs. And the message from Fulton County seems clear. Challenge the status quo, and you'll be dragged through the mud regardless of truth or fairness. In a nation built on the rule of law and choice, this should alarm us all, because today it's Donald Trump in the hot seat, but tomorrow it could be anyone who dares to think differently. That, America, is why this matters. And turning now to some strategic moves within the GOP, Angie has the latest scoop on GOP Representatives' mastermind plan to block Trump's prosecutor. Over to you, Angie.
Thanks, Gary. Let's get into the news. Representative Andy Ogles has proposed the You're Fired Act to halt federal funds from covering the salary of special counsel Jack Smith. Smith's recent federal indictments against former President Donald Trump have caused controversy, with critics arguing he's leveraging his role to advance a partisan agenda. Co-sponsored by Rep. Alex Mooney and Eli Crane, the act seeks to ensure Smith doesn't receive a taxpayer-funded salary. Trump denies all charges, with prosecutors eyeing a January 2nd trial date. Ogles and supporters claim this is an effort to mute opposition and misuse taxpayer money. They also emphasize the importance of halting the perceived misuse of power. Dive deeper, get the whole story by tapping the link in our bio. As the nation deals with rising prices, Gary's here to break down the alleged role of the White House in the unfolding inflation nightmare. Gary?
The economy, the backbone of our nation, finds itself at a critical juncture under the Biden administration. From the corridors of Wall Street to the diners in Midwest towns, the economic decisions being made today will echo for years, perhaps even decades. As we push towards progressive reforms, do we risk pulling our economy into a quagmire? Are we compromising our global standing, jobs, and future prosperity? In today's special report, we'll delve into the nitty-gritty of Biden's economic agenda, and trust me, you don't want to miss our final thought that unveils what all this means for you and your family. Now, the Biden administration, they entered office with the promise of reshaping America's economy. It's a vision filled with grand gestures of addressing inequalities and taking aggressive stances on environmental issues. But like a dramatic twist in a novel, these plans come with significant caveats that every American needs to be aware of. Are these policies the much-needed reforms we've been waiting for? Or are they a gamble with the very core of our nation's economic vitality? So let's break it down. First on the table is Biden's proposal to hike the corporate tax rate from the current 21% established under the Trump administration's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act to 28%. It's a move aimed at getting corporations to pay their fair share. But here's where the red flags arise. Competitor nations such as Ireland, with its inviting 12.5% rate, could become more appealing for multinational corporations. So what does this mean? It means we risk businesses relocating overseas to capitalize on more favorable tax environments, potentially leading to job losses here at home. If history serves as a guide, a study from the National Bureau of Economic Research shows that a 1% increase in corporate tax could reduce real GDP by 0.5% in the subsequent year. And that's not a trivial figure. Speaking of preservation and strategic decisions, let's talk about the U.S. dollar. Much like how our economy needs wise policies to maintain its value, our currency, too, has been facing challenges. It's lost 85% of its value since decoupling from gold in the 1970s, and with unchecked printing of money and looming inflation, investing with Noble Gold Investments provides an anchor in stormy financial seas. Plus, they're offering a 24-karat quarter-ounce gold standard coin for free. Secure your future and keep our economy's past in mind. Dial 877-646-5347 or simply visit noblegoldinvestments.com, the gold standard in safeguarding your wealth. And continuing with Biden's economic proposals, we arrive at the $15 minimum wage debate. On the surface, raising the minimum wage to $15, an audacious jump from the current $7.25, sounds like a universal win. But the Congressional Budget Office paints a more complex picture, suggesting that while this could potentially lift 900,000 people out of poverty, it could also result in the loss of 1.3 million jobs. It's a stark reminder that every policy has its winners and losers. Small businesses, the very heart of the American dream, may find themselves unable to absorb these wage hikes, potentially resulting in reduced working hours, layoffs, or even closures. And then there's the Green New Deal, Biden's own aspirations for it. He's shown support for aggressive climate change policies, aiming for a carbon pollution-free power sector by 2035. The intent to move aggressively away from fossil fuels is clear, but this carries its own brand of peril. The fossil fuel industry directly employs, ready for this, around 1 million people in the United States. Rapid transition could result in significant job losses in these sectors. We must ask, are we ready for this transition, both economically and technologically? And lastly, we have Biden's infrastructure plan and the associated spike in government spending. $2 trillion aimed at everything from roads to broadband access. Infrastructure investments are typically a reliable avenue for growth, but this comes with significant strings attached. Our national debt already exceeds $28 trillion. Are we digging a deeper hole? And what about inflation? The Federal Reserve has already raised red flags about potential inflationary pressures in the U.S. And this isn't just about dollars and cents. It's about the future of America's global competitiveness. It's about the small business owner in Iowa, the factory worker in Michigan, and the tech startup in Austin. It's about the delicate balance between progress and stability, between aspiration and reality. Economic stability is not a flashy term, but it is perhaps the most important one. The strength of the U.S. economy has always been its adaptability and resilience. As we navigate the labyrinth of Biden's policy proposals, we must maintain a laser focus on long-term stability and growth. In conclusion, the Biden administration's economic policies are ambitious and sweeping. They aim to address long-standing issues of so-called inequality and environmental degradation. But as we've laid bare tonight, these policies aren't without their risks and potential drawbacks. The American people deserve policies that are both compassionate and economically sound, a delicate balance that we must strive for as we move forward. In the great American tale, balance has been a guiding principle, a delicate act of weighing aspirations with prudence. As we steer through these transformative times, it becomes imperative for every American to discern the long game. Yes, perhaps addressing inequalities is crucial. We're all equal in the eyes of God. But championing a cleaner planet for our children, sure, it's noble. But in this pursuit, it's paramount that we don't unknowingly jeopardize the very foundation of our nation's economic prowess. Our adaptability, resilience, and entrepreneurial spirit have been the pillars of our success. Let's ensure that today's policies don't cast a shadow on tomorrow's dreams. This is not just about numbers and policies, it's about the American legacy. So stay informed, stay engaged. Let's ensure the American dreams remain, not just alive, but thriving for generations to come. From a simple name mispronunciation to a full-blown controversy, Angie's got the details on the uproar caused by KJB's blunder with Senator Hirono's name. I'll have more on that as well later. Angie, what happened?
Thanks, Gary. Let's get into the news. In a recent press briefing, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre mispronounced Democratic Hawaii Senator Mazie Hirono's name, drawing criticism from some quarters. Her pronunciation of Hirino instead of Mazie Hirono has fueled claims of incompetence within the Biden administration. As the face of White House communications, the press secretary is expected to be articulate and informed. This incident has amplified calls for competency in the administration, with some labeling Jean-Pierre as lacking in her role. Critics argue this just isn't about a name mispronunciation, but a broader concern about the administration's preparedness. Dive deeper, get the whole story by tapping the link in our bio. It seems there's major reshuffling at CNN. Gary, can you fill us in on the latest purge impacting the network's top talent? Over to you.
In the turbulent waters of the cable news world, CNN is desperately trying to stay afloat. Allison Camerota, a seasoned anchor of CNN's fleet, has been unceremoniously dropped from her 10 p.m. position. This move comes hot on the heels of a scandal involving Camerota and former network president Jeff Zucker. As CNN's viewership continues to sink, the network is shuffling the deck, once again trying to chart a new course. And it doesn't stop with Camerota. The experienced Chris Wallace finds his own star dimmed in this latest reshuffle. Why these drastic moves and what does it mean to signify for CNN's future? There's more beneath the surface of these headlines, and you won't want to miss our final thought on what this means for the American people. Amid a series of recent embarrassments and severe rating slumps, CNN has enacted another major shakeup among its prominent anchors. Just 2 weeks after a scandal linked her with former network president Jeff Zucker, Allison Camerota has been ousted from her prime 10 p.m. slot. She'll be replaced by rising star Abby Phillip, CNN's senior political correspondent, marking a significant changing of the guard within the network. Meanwhile, as part of the reorganization, Laura Coates, the network's chief legal analyst, is reportedly slated to anchor CNN's 11 p.m. hour, and both Phillip and Coates are ascending to fill the void left by Camerota's CNN Tonight, which aired every weeknight from 10 p.m. until midnight, showcasing the reshuffling as a major restructuring effort by the network. And just as CNN is attempting to cut the access and regain its once vibrant health with a fresh lineup, so can you take charge of your own well-being in a nation where 73.6% of adults are overweight and 40% of those are obese. Personal health is in crisis, and that's why we want to introduce an amazing supplement to support your health journey. Main ingredient CLA has been shown to reduce fat storage and accelerate fat breakdown, helping you to cut through your own personal rating slump. And for today only, you can try it at 51% off, along with several additional free bonuses. Order today by going to trimwithgary.com or by clicking the link in the description below. Now, the shakeup is not just about individual anchors. It marks an evident attempt for CNN to revitalize its programming schedule as the network faces a severe drop in profitability, now falling to below $1 billion. CNN's leadership in a recent press release emphasized the new lineup's aim to showcase the breadth and depth of CNN's journalism. CNN's restructuring reflects more than the routine comings and goings of a TV news network. Over the past year, the network's ratings have suffered, particularly among the key 25 to 45 demo. The desperation is palpable and, one might say, overdue. The shakeup is also its high-profile victims beyond Camerota. Chris Wallace, the seasoned journalist who famously migrated from Fox News to CNN's digital platform, CNN Plus, finds himself reassigned. Instead of basking in a primetime spotlight, Wallace is now to host a show on Saturday at 10 a.m. when everyone is sleeping in, reflecting the diminishing faith the network might have in his ability to pull in viewers during the all-important weeknight slots. Let's not forget about the seasoned Christine Romans, the longtime anchor of CNN's early start and chief business correspondent, who recently announced her departure from CNN after nearly 25 years amidst the network's declining viewership. Watch.
Welcome back. One final note from me today on Early Start. It has been a pleasure waking up early for you for so many years to get your morning started. I love CNN dearly. I have loved my wonderful 24-year run here. 24 years, right? But I've decided that I'm ready for a new chapter. I'm full of gratitude for my CNN family. It is a family. Everybody here are my friends. And I'm excited for the challenges ahead. So I will be moving on from CNN, but I will still be watching. Just like you, I just won't have an alarm set for 2:30 in the morning. Thanks for joining me. I'm Christine Romans. Have a great weekend, everybody, and a great future. CNN This Morning starts right now.
Bye-bye. Romans' poignant farewell underscores the emotional and transformative shift happening within the network. Moreover, this shakeup hints at a potential shift in editorial stance. Recent hosts and guests have shown increased willingness to critique Democrats and offer measured support to former President Donald Trump, a stark shift from the previously unfaltering criticism. This change, though subtle, might be a calculated move to win back viewers disenchanted with perceived partisan reporting. And CNN's recent hiring and firing patterns, including the controversial dismissal of the new CEO Chris Licht, further underscore the turbulence. Licht, despite the internal revolt his decisions ignited, have attempted to steer CNN towards a less partisan leaning. He championed Trump's town hall in New Hampshire, drawing an impressive 3.3 million viewers, albeit sparking backlash within the network and a heartfelt apology from Anderson Cooper. So this extensive shakeup at CNN is far more than an inside baseball story of a network in flux. It's a symbol of a broader struggle within the media world, where ratings and partisanship increasingly steer the ship. At the heart of this are the American people, who depend on these networks for information and for truth. When the guardians of facts are shuffled like deck cards based on ratings, what becomes of trust? As anchors rise and fall at CNN, what is rising and falling with them is a question about the integrity of our information sources. As CNN navigates its stormy seas, it's a poignant reminder for us all. In an era where truth feels increasingly elusive, where we get our facts, it matters. And there's a responsibility we must all take seriously, as viewers and citizens, in a time when the very notion of truth is under siege. And what's becoming increasingly a hauntingly popular attraction, Angie has the inside scoop on Budweiser's ghostly beer tent taking the Sturgis rally by storm. Angie, what's all the buzz about?
Let's get into the news. Anheuser-Busch, the iconic American beer brand, saw a notably empty beer tent at the Sturgis motorcycle rally in South Dakota, following their recent partnership with a controversial TikTok influencer. The Sturgis rally, a major event attracting thousands of bikers nationwide, witnessed attendees apparently avoiding the Budweiser brand. The partnership between Budweiser and local distributor Quality Brands of the Black Hills has historically benefited the Black Hills community. Still, the vacant Budweiser tent, captured in viral social media posts, has ignited discussions on corporate partnerships and values. It remains to be seen how Anheuser-Busch will navigate its brand image in light of these events. Dive deeper, get the whole story by tapping the link in our bio. The clock is ticking towards 2024, and actions speak louder than words. Gary's got the essential steps we all need to take immediately. Gary, what's the game plan?
Imagine a moment that will redefine the course of American elections, a moment so profound it echoes as a turning point in history. That moment is nearly upon us. In less than 36 hours, Mike Lindell, the business mogul and steadfast patriot, is about to unveil a plan conceived to secure our elections like never before, a plan that will, as he promises, blow us away. This isn't just a promise, it's an impending reality. A summit costing over $3 million, uniting representatives from all 50 states, a plan endorsed by both Republicans and Democrats alike. This is a call to action, and is coming from Lindell himself. You won't want to miss this final thought, for this is more than a news report. It's a clarion call for the very soul of America. And here's your chance to be part of history. Register now at lindellevent.com and use code NNN. It's your first step to help protect the future of America. In a time when faith in the electoral process is at an all-time low, one man has risen above the discord and skepticism. Mike Lindell, known to millions as the My Pillow Maven, is about to launch something unprecedented, something designed to save and secure the 2024 election. The secrecy is reminiscent of a Steve Jobs product launch, and Lindell's determination matches that energy. Like Jobs, Lindell knows the power of a well-guarded surprise, but his enemies are not rival tech companies. They are those who would undermine the integrity of America's elections. What Lindell is preparing to reveal to the world is not about dwelling on past disappointments. It's not about presenting new evidence of a stolen election. This is about the future, and this is about action. Lindell's approach is likened to the ingenious strategy that finally brought down Al Capone, not with the expected assault, but from an entirely different and unexpected angle. It's a strategy that acknowledges the corruption within the system and refuses to be stymied by it. Take a look.
Hello, everyone. We've all been longing for hope and a plan that would secure our elections forever. Well, now it's all come down to this. I'm hosting an event August 16th and 17th, and we're going to reveal the plan that will save our election platforms immediately. And it's something that's never been thought of before, and it's never been done before in world history. And the biggest thing is everyone's going to embrace this plan no matter who you are. So go to lindellevent.com and sign up with your email now to gain exclusive live stream access. Enter your referral code and you'll also receive a free online gift now. Thank you and God bless.
Now, Mike Lindell is the MyPillow maven who can't be stopped. Like a determined captain steering a ship through a storm, Lindell is navigating America towards secure elections. And just as MyPillow ensures that you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer, Lindell is striving to guarantee that America wakes up to secure elections in 2024. With the Giza Dream Sheets and the mattress topper, you'll be sleeping in peace, just as Lindell seeks peace of mind for every American voter. Use promo code NNN for up to 66% off at sleepwithgary.com or by tapping more below this video. Now, the summit is costing a monumental $3 million, more than that, in assembling representation from all 50 states. It's an embodiment of unity that this nation sorely needs. It aims to deliver a system that ensures those who legitimately win take office with transparency and integrity that will be embraced by every American, regardless of party affiliation. Lindell's vision has been meticulously worked on for over a year. The event, which will be streamed in 90 different languages around the world on frankspeech.com, is designed to be inclusive, participatory, and transformative. He wants you to be a part of this moment, to be a part of history. He wants you to register, to engage, to care, and to believe in the potential for change. Now, Mike Lindell is, at his core, a businessman, a successful one. When his initial efforts didn't yield the desired outcome, he went back to the drawing board. He said, quote, "We have to come at this a different way." In this resolve, Lindell is taking the fight for election integrity into uncharted territory. And part of Lindell's plan involves Kari Lake, a figure also dedicated to this significant cause. And the mission is clear. Fixing 2020 means don't let them steal the next one. This is not a mere digital event. It's a rallying cry for every citizen who believes in the core principles that America was built upon. And it is completely free. Not because it lacks value, but because the stakes are too high to put a price on participation. As the 36-hour countdown continues, the urgency is palpable. Lindell's not asking for your money. He's asking for something far more precious, your trust and your time, and your hope for a brighter American future. Now, this story matters to the American people because its stake is nothing less than the integrity of our process, our democratic process, the heartbeat of our nation. In a time when division seems to be the order of the day, Mike Lindell is attempting to galvanize a moment of unity and action. He's investing millions and countless hours into a plan he believes can restore faith in our elections. Lindell's initiative is not just a plan. It's a statement, a declaration that the American people can and should demand transparency and honesty in their electoral process. As the clock ticks down, this is a chance for citizens to stand together, united in the belief that the core of American democracy, our republic, can be not only preserved, but strengthened. Take a stand. Be part of this historical moment. Register at lindellevent.com with code NNN. It's time to take action for the future of our republic. Now, a flash mob event in Target takes a tense turn. Angie, what can you tell us about the claims of racism following its abrupt shutdown? Over to you.
Thanks, Gary. A performer, Baby Storm, and her group have accused Target employees of racism after being asked to leave the store for filming an unsolicited dance routine. The video of the incident, shared widely on platforms like YouTube and X, shows the group dancing even after being requested to stop. Baby Storm claims the staff called the police unjustly, alleging racism. However, several online commentators have defended Target, emphasizing the store's clear policies against such actions. The incident has sparked discussions about entitlement and respect for rules, with many decrying Baby Storm's accusations as an attempt to gain publicity. Critics highlight the importance of respecting store policies and the roles of employees enforcing them. Dive deeper, get the whole story by tapping the link in our bio. It seems there's another hiccup in the White House handling of the Maui fire crisis. Gary, give us the latest on these repeated stumbles. What's going on?
Imagine a nation grappling with a disaster, longing for its leaders to provide comfort, clarity, and direction. Now envision those leaders delivering gaffes, indifference, and laughable mistakes at the very helm of communication. Disturbing? Unfortunately, it's our present reality. From President Biden's inexplicable bike rides to Jean-Pierre's embarrassing missteps, this special report dissects the Maui fire fiasco that's consumed the administration. And stay tuned until the final thought. You'll want to hear why this is pertinent to every single American watching. Well, the tragedy of the Maui fire has devastated countless lives, and with such magnitude, it's expected that the nation's leaders rise to the occasion, delivering calm and effective messaging. Yet the Biden administration has proven that such expectations might just be too high. It started with President Joe Biden, our commander-in-chief, seemingly shrugging off the gravity of the situation. When asked about the Maui situation during his bike ride, instead of halting to address the nation's concerns, he pedaled on with the dismissive, "We're looking at it." Watch.
Good morning. Will you be going to Maui? Good morning, Madam First Lady.
Can you come talk about Maui, Mr. President? And it didn't end there. The next day's response, a blithe shout of no comment concerning the escalating death toll, was nothing short of bewildering. Here's that moment.
President, any comments on the rising death toll in Maui?
Will you come talk about the Hawaii response, Mr. President?
No comment. With the nation in mourning and communities looking for leadership, this isn't the response anyone expected. At a time when every word matters, the seemingly casual responses from the president were more than just disappointing, they were heartbreaking. Every second counts during a crisis, and the nation needs answers and reassurances, not a commander-in-chief continuing a leisurely bike ride. Then enters Karine Jean-Pierre, the deputy White House press secretary, expected to be the reliable communicator between the president and the public. The hopes that she would steer the ship back to stability were swiftly dashed. Her recent briefing became an immediate spectacle of mishaps. The White House's acknowledgement of the grieving and suffering during such trying times, well, they couldn't even correctly identify both Hawaiian senators, and adding insult to injury, Senator Mazi Hirono, a woman, was mistakenly referenced as a man. Watch.
Senator Horino, who I said the president spoke to just last night, he thanked the president for the immediate support of federal agencies have delivered for residents of Hawaii, and so has Senator Shorts.
Wow. How challenging is it, especially considering the gravity of the event, to review briefing notes for correct information? It's akin to expecting a leader to stop his bike and address a national tragedy. The glaring lapses of this administration makes one reminisce about their campaign promises, returning the adults to the room. The recent series of events prompts a revisit of that declaration, perhaps with a more critical lens. And now, as the fire's toll continues to rise, with at least 90 lives lost and likely many more deaths to be reported, the administration appears to be treating the Maui fire like a random political issue. It's jarring to see their lack of detail of care. What's the driving force behind these blunders? Is it sheer incompetence? Or is there a bubbling arrogance that's now spilling over, making them oblivious to the importance of optics in governance? Delving into these questions becomes even more crucial when you consider the escalating death toll from the Maui fire. In a stark contrast, ponder for a moment, if a Republican administration had made these missteps, the media uproar would undoubtedly be unrelenting. Yet the current situation's gravity deserves attention, regardless of party lines, and it begs the question, are our leaders aware of the real-world consequences tied to their actions? In a world as unpredictable as a wildfire, with crises springing up like sudden flames, whether natural, political, or economic, there are no scripts, no warnings, much like how the Biden administration seems to be caught unprepared in the face of the Maui fire tragedy. You don't want to be caught off guard when disaster strikes. And that's why it's vital to be prepared to protect not only yourself, but your entire family. And right now, My Patriot Supply has a rare 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food kit. Think of it as your own preparedness strategy, as essential as a well-revised set of briefing notes before a critical press conference. 1 kit per person to ensure that everyone you care about is secure. So don't find yourself scrambling when the unexpected happens. Visit preparewithgary.com right now to get your 25% discount. So in light of these errors, one can't help but ponder about the caliber of preparation and response planning in the Biden administration. Is it even a priority? The inability to know essential details about sitting senators, especially during a time when their constituents are suffering, is alarming. It paints a picture of an administration frantically struggling to appear composed and controlled, but failing transparently. The optics are appalling, and they're generating questions not just domestically, but also on the international stage. How does the world view an American administration that can't seem to get basic facts right during a crisis? It may be undermining our global standing, breeding distrust in our capacity to handle our affairs, let alone international issues. Moreover, how does this reflect on the White House inner workings? Does the president not have advisors double-checking data? Are there not layers of review before public statements? If so, how did such glaring errors make it through? The absence of these processes, or their failure, is indicative of an administration in disarray. So as the fires rage on, so does the concern over the administration's handling of the crisis. With every passing day, the American public is losing faith that their leaders are capable of effectively navigating through tragedy and offering genuine, thoughtful leadership. What the nation needs now, more than ever, is for the Biden administration to step up, show real empathy, a deep understanding of the situation, and a clear and detailed plan of action. The time for bike rides and botched press conferences is over. The Maui fire crisis isn't just a fleeting news item. It's a stark reflection of leadership and its impact on a nation's psyche during critical times. The lack of empathy, the glaring mistakes, and the dismissive attitudes are more than just blunders. They reveal a deeper chasm between the administration and the people it serves. And while leaders can be fallible, there's an innate expectation of responsibility and grace during crises. What's unfolded thus far serves as a sobering reminder for every American. The importance of leadership that listens, understands, and most importantly, acts with wisdom and sensitivity. San Francisco's crime concerns just got personal for the Speaker of the House, or former Speaker of the House. Angie, what can you tell us about the incident at the Nancy Pelosi Federal Building?
Thank you, Gary. Let's get into the news. San Francisco's escalating crime and safety concerns have impacted even its iconic federal building. The Nancy Pelosi Federal Building has become a symbol of the city's growing uncertainty. An August 4th memo by Cheryl Campbell from the Department of Health and Human Services advised many workers to transition to remote operations, encompassing regions beyond just California. Despite the building's significance, housing agencies like HHS and Representative Nancy Pelosi's office, it hasn't been immune to the surrounding public safety issues. Violent crimes in the city have surged and homeless rates have skyrocketed. While authorities are grappling to manage these challenges, some, like Representative Kevin Kiley, have voiced stark concerns about the deteriorating situation. The city's present status underscores the urgent need for effective measures. Dive deeper, get the whole story by tapping the link in our bio. That's all the news I have for tonight. Now to our Prime Tweet segment with Gary.
All right, let's dive into our special segment, Prime Tweets, where we highlight some of the week's most telling comments in response to our pressing questions. And our question last night was, with Fulton County's indictments shaking Georgia, Biden's proposed economic changes during debates, CNN's internal shakeups, Lindell's move to safeguard future elections, and the administration's response to the Maui fire tragedy, how are these events shaping America's trust in leadership? And boy, Did you folks respond? So let's get into it. Our first comment comes from Blastmaster Parker, who says it's time to dispatch the entire Demon Rat Party, top to bottom, no mercy, for their treason. Well, it's quite a bold statement there. Blastmaster, passionate political sentiments are running high, but let's remember to always aim for constructive dialogue, shall we? Now, Richard Johnson says, Maui, Biden-Harris, all I hear are crickets. In the words of Pence, America is none of my concern. Pulling out a Pence quote with a hint of sarcasm. An interesting take, Richard. Whether or not we agree, every voice should be heard. But I do know where you're going with that. Next up, Real GS shares, Biden put up a good front for almost 50 years, but it's astonishing that now, day by day, we are really seeing what he truly is. A man only interested in enriching himself and a pathological liar. Well, Real GS, many might argue with your perspective, but it's essential for us to hold our leaders accountable no matter what side. And Scott Harris chimes in with, it's all over for the hardworking people of the United States of America. They've sucked you dry with only one use left, and that is to die for them in the next World War. Somber outlook, Scott. America's faced challenges before, and we will face them again. Remember, unity is our strength. And lastly, Stephen, he doesn't hold back. He says there's no trust in the leadership of this country top down. It has all been corrupted. Trust in leadership is vital for any nation, Stephen. We must remain vigilant and informed to ensure the best of our future. And that wraps up this week's Prime Tweets. It's always great to hear from you, our viewers, so keep the tweets and comments coming. Now, moving on to our next segment, Looking at You. Today we've got a clip that is sure to make you cheer. We're going to highlight one politician's brave moment. And tonight in our Looking at You segment, we're shining a light on Representative Anna Paulina Luna. In an era often marred by political division, it's refreshing to see a representative who genuinely engages with her community. Watch.
I don't know about you guys, but as far as I'm concerned, Hawaii and the people of Hawaii are far more important than places like Ukraine. So when you have a president that has advocated for over $100 billion going to a foreign country that really we have no place investing in, oh, by the way, same country that personally paid off his family, but that's another conversation, while actively ignoring what's happening in Hawaii and really helping Hawaii.
Any comments on the rising death toll in Maui?
I think that tells you exactly what you need to know about this president, and that he's not really fighting for the American people. He fights for countries, though, and people that personally benefit his family. But more to come on that one.
Ooh, scathing. Luna's dedication to her constituents, her hands-on approach to problem solving, and her evident passion for service set her apart. It's clear that for Representative Luna, public service isn't just a title, it's a calling. So hats off to Representative Luna for reminding us that dedication and community-first thinking still have a place in politics. Tonight we peel back the layers of stories that aren't just headlines, they're reflections of our nation's evolving spirit. From the You're Fired Act to the debate on competency within the highest corridors of power, from a seemingly simple mispronunciation to a telling beer tent in South Dakota, we've explored the intricacies of our society's dynamics. These aren't just news items, they're windows into the heartbeat of our nation. It's evident that as a nation, as a republic, we're at a crossroads of values, transparency, and accountability. In San Francisco, the very building named after the former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi echoes the cries of a city in distress. And then there's Baby Storm, a dance, a store, and the debate about respect, rights, and rules. These tales matter not because they'll dominate tomorrow's headlines, but because they'll shape our national discourse, challenge our perceptions, and force us to reflect our collective path forward. America, these are our stories, and they sculpt our future. Stay vigilant, question more, and let's seek the truth together. And that wraps up another insightful edition of N3 Primetime. A huge thank you to Angie for her riveting news brief. You truly bring the pulse of the nation to our screens. And to all of you who tuned in, engaged in the live chat, your voices and perspectives are the essence of our show. And thank you for making this platform so vibrant. And just as we discuss the uncertainties and fluctuations tonight, remember, while the landscapes of politics and society shift, gold remains a steadfast protector of value. Think of it as the anchor in a tempestuous sea of financial unpredictability. So I urge you to consider Noble Gold Investments, the gold company I trust. And as a token of appreciation, they're offering this free quarter-ounce gold standard coin. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com or call 877-646-5347. Again, even if you don't invest, just call them and tell them thanks for sponsoring the Next News Network. So stay connected, keep sharing, and let's continue building this community of informed and engaged citizens. And if you found value in our discussions, spread the word. I'm Gary Franchi, and remember, my goal isn't to make you a follower, but to empower you to lead the discourse. Good night, and God bless.